Hi, welcome to Drill Bits. I'm Drill.
And I'm Bubblegum.
How you doing, Bubblegum?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Not too bad. What have you been up to this week?
A lot of training, wrestling training, and mostly having my children. That's mostly training.
So what do you mean by training?
I teach at Preston City Wrestling.
Yeah.
And I have my own circuit conditioning classes twice a week. So 3 times I'm out teaching. And then obviously weekends will be for wrestling.
So you don't work then? You wrestle full time?
Wrestling is full time.
That's alright for some people, isn't it? So what kind of classes do you teach during the weekend? And where do you teach them?
I teach at Peak Fitness in St Helens. It's not CrossFit, but it's like conditioning circuits with you know, like the flipping the tyres and the rope whips, a lot of gymnastic stuff as well. So I have about 6 or 7 clients at the minute that come every week. So and then at the minute it's only once a week at Preston because obviously it clashes with my classes. So that's at the unit in Preston where there's like I taught last night and there was 19 of them that showed up, so big class. So you know, 2.5 hours of just getting through the basics again because these are the ones that are doing shows now. Yeah. So it's like we're going over old bad habits that they've picked up so far. So it's like no, cut them out. Let's start fresh again. So just kind of going back.
Are you the other one that teaches it?
No. T-Bone does it. Tony Storm. Dave Rain is just taking a few classes now, I think, because obviously Bone will be everywhere in the week. You know, he lives in Worcester, so can't always get to the week ones. And obviously, I couldn't do certain days because it clashes with my other classes, so they needed somebody else. So Dave Rain's taking control of one of the nights, and then Tony Storm as well.
Cool. So what made you want to get into wrestling then?
It was weird. It was one night, my dad used to rip the piss out of it and he was like, it's not real, and all this and that. And then I remember awful with dates or years. It was SummerSlam when he came to Wembley, and I heard my dad watching it, and I just literally came down the stairs and just peeped through, and there's like Legion of Doom came out with the fucking massive spikes and just like boom, just like wow. I was there for hours just watching it on the stairs, and from that kind of event was just like, that's exactly what I want to do. So I just carried on.
How old were you when you seen it?
Well, I must have been about 7 or 8. I think it was, and it was just in my head then. It was just like, that's what I wanted to do. Because like growing up, my family was all football. Yeah. So we were based in Manchester, in Moss Side. So when we were growing up, we were literally across the road from Main Road. So everything was football. I was like, no, I want to do wrestling. So
cool. So where did your journey start in wrestling then? Like the training schools and that?
It was a weird kind of how it came about, because when I was 18, well, I'll go further back. I used to play for Man United in football, and then in the summer holidays we went to a play scheme for the 6 weeks when we broke up for school, and we're on a bouncy castle, and one of the staff that shouldn't have been on kind of like double stomped my foot and my leg, and it snapped my tibia and fibula. Nice. So I was released from football, and then I got compensation. So when I was 18, I obviously got the money, and I was like, right, I'm going to America. I've applied for the Shawn Michaels school. I'm going. And then my mum and dad are just like, look, you've not even been, to Manchester on your own. It was like, you're not going to, Texas on your own. So my mum and dad searched the internet and found a wrestling school that was in Stoke, which was AIWFGB, I think they were called then. They were just like, look, go with your dad on a Sunday, and if you don't like it, then you can go to America, but if you like it, then your dad will take you every week. So I didn't drive when I was 18. So I went there on the Sunday, and it was literally small judo mats, like soaking wet that they've got rock hard. There was no ring, there was no like glamorous stuff that schools have now. It was just cold, and that was when I met the Naturals boys, Johnny Fear and Dirk Feelgood.
Yeah.
So and then as soon as I finished that session, because we did 6 hours the first session, and the next day I couldn't move my neck because there was like the bumping on the floors and everything. It was just like, oh my god, I can't move my neck. But no, since then it was just I just went every single week.
So did you not end up going to America then?
No. No, I saved my money. I did, but not in wrestling terms. I went to Hawaii for 3 months, so.
Cool.
Swings and roundabouts.
So, who give you your first shot then? On the promotions or whatever?
It was, obviously I was in Stoke for, I think it was like 3 years.
Yeah.
And I did a couple of matches, rumbles, and then it kind of all broke down, where people were just leaving because they were falling out, and all of a sudden there was just me left, and Chris, who gave me my break, he taught me, he brought me into the business, but he was just like, he wasn't turning up, and I was just like, I can't be arsed with this anymore. So I decided to finish, but then Keith Myatt was like, look, I've got this school going in Nottingham, get to Stoke and I'll take you every single week. He has no problems, because obviously he lives in Stoke. So I went there, and NBW they were called. It was kind of from there I met Chris Travis, Legs, and it was kind of like we were just travelling everywhere, just doing these shows, working with these Legs and Trav all the time, because we had this chemistry together. But I still stayed in touch with Dirk. So, and it was kind of like I started working their kind of style that was kind of British. The British style decided to go Ring of Honor with all the spots. So, because Chris taught us old, like British style wrestling, to look after yourself, jiu-jitsu sort of style. But it was when I started working with Chris and Ligero, who were at GPW at the time, and then Dirk was like, look, come down and watch the shows, introduce myself, and then like Johnny Brannigan kind of just like, look, I'll give you a shot. And as soon as he gave me the ball, I was just like, baby, I just ran with it. And then it was GPW that was the first company to kind of put money behind me, sort of thing, like advertisement. It was just like, because GPW was all Alex Shane, Damon Lee, the bigger guys, and it's all of a sudden this 5'6" kid with pleather and long blonde hair comes in, and it's like this new era sort of thing where it was, kids were coming that were like 4 or 5 years old. You just wanted to see Bubblegum, and then Ligero as well, because they're so colourful. So he put me in spots where it was sink or swim, when I swam, and it just from there just escalated. So it was always GPW that gave me that big break. To kind of just put my name there and just be like, look at this kid. So
awesome. So you're called Bubblegum. She's quite an unusual wrestling name. Why are you called Bubblegum?
Blame Dirk Feelgood. It's his fault. No, I was originally I went to training when we were at Stoke, and he was just like, come to the show just to see what it's like. I got there and it was like, somebody's pulled out. We want you in the Rumble tonight. And he was like, what's your wrestling name? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, I can't call myself Pit Carter, because doesn't sound wrestling. So the night before, I watched Demolition Man, and I was a massive Wesley Snipes fan, so it was like Simon Phoenix. So I just thought, balls to it, I'm Simon Phoenix. So I had that for the 3 years when I was in Stoke, and
I wasn't expecting you to. Is this drill bits?
We're doing drill bits.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I need a shit.
That's a top, isn't it?
So you're gonna get me when I'm coming out, no?
I didn't know there was a toilet.
I'm showering everything here. You're onto my secret place now.
Oh wow.
Johnny Brannigan, everybody.
I can't remember what was it. Oh, the name, yeah, sorry. So after 3 years as Simon Phoenix, like Dirk, he's a big comic fan, like I am myself.
Yeah.
And he was like, he had this concept of like the story. He had like these group of people that together, and he came in one training session, and he was just like, do you know what? You should be called Bubblegum. I was like, what? Because obviously, like my idol, like when I first started wrestling, like the indie guy was Brian Kendrick, and he was called Spanky. So, and I kind of wanted a quirky, cool name like that, and he was like, Bubblegum. It's like, you know, you look like a kid. You can't be called something like the Destroyer because you're not. So he was just like, cool, Bubblegum. You know, it's a cute name, and it goes with your outfits and stuff like that. So, and everyone was just laughing. It was like, it will never catch on. And fucking 15 years afterwards, I still can't get rid of it. So it did stick. So yeah, that's how it came about. He just literally had this idea from a comic, and one of the characters he had was called Bubblegum.
Yeah.
And he was like, that's what you should be called.
Right.
So, that's the story.
So, what is Bubblegum then? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, as in the character we did.
Yeah, the character. What is the character Bubblegum?
My idea as Bubblegum was always like Jack and the Beanstalk.
Yeah.
It was always Jack, you know, like every time I wrestled somebody, they were always bigger, they were stronger. So it was like, the concept that I had was that I had to outsmart that person. So if they were taller than me, like Jack and the Beanstalk, I'd chop the tree down. So that's why I use kicks.
David and Goliath.
Yeah, so that's why I use kicks, because it's like you chop away at their legs, and the only way I'd ever get advantage would be from the top rope. So the kind of character that I had was, he was an underdog who had to always fight his way up. So that's the that's the baby face. Well, the heel Bubblegums are just that side is the guys, or the teenagers that you see at the co-ops, you know, the one-stops, the snotty, you know, with the hoods up, hands down the pants, spitting on the floor. You just walk past and, oh, I fucking love to smash in the face. So that's that side of Bubblegum. But for the good side, it was always just a happy, somebody that can, you know, everybody in school, there's always a small kid that gets picked on, and that's the kind of thing that GPW emphasised on. It was always the bigger people were trying to pick on me, and you know, I had the courage to fight back. You know, and, you know, they did it so well, and it was like their ideas, me playing it, and it was just like, it just went together really well. So that's how the character.
Yeah. So what do you prefer to play, heel or face?
I'm not sure really which one I prefer, but it's like when I first started wrestling, I was a good guy from start till when my eldest boy was born. So it would have been 9 years of being a good guy, and I never. It's like nowadays, if people start this, you're one good guy and then you're a bad guy elsewhere. But it's fun to play the bad one because it's different for me. It's kind of like there's boundaries that you can push. I do it too far sometimes and get told off. But the difference is like a lot of companies now will use me as a babyface for some reason because they think that it works. But then you'll have fans go, no, I prefer him as a bad guy because, you know, everyone loves a cool baddie. So it's kind of, it's hard to please both.
Yeah.
You know, which I prefer to do, but it's the kind of what the audience would prefer. So at the end of the day, I always think that if somebody wants me to do a job, whether it's good or bad, I'll just do it as best I can for both.
Sure. So I've seen you wear some pretty funky trunks. What's behind that? Because I've seen you wear Minions, seen Buzz Lightyear, and then stuff with bombs on them as Bomberman and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's just things that nobody else would wear, because I've got Adventure Time ones as well.
Oh, yeah.
With Jake. But it's just Buzz Lightyear is from my youngest boy, Sonny, because he's obsessed with Buzz Lightyear. So I just thought I'd have to get Buzz Lightyear. I have a Dennis the Menace, which is a little tribute to Trav, because when I did Peter Bubblegum Pan, yeah, when he used to play like a Peter Pan gimmick, he was Dennis the Menace. So, because he always had these weird knees. You ever seen the comic Dennis the Menace, and he just draws a line and then lump.
Oh yeah.
Chris had the same thing. And I was just like, you have Dennis the Menace knees. So that's the little tribute I have for him. Yeah, the Minion ones, it's because it was popular at the time because of the cinema that came out. But I think I can get away with it because, you know, being called Bubblegum. I can have kind of any character on there and it's like, oh, or it's like, oh, that's cool, I want them.
Yeah.
But no, that's just the ideas that with Vic Stitch as well, because she's brilliant with the designs, because it's kind of, I'm awful at designing stuff, I'm crap at drawing, but it's like, I'll send her my ideas and then she'll just go, is that what you meant? I was like, whoa, yes, that's exactly what I meant. So, you know, it's all down to her for making them, you know,
so,
make it stand out.
Yeah. So how many pairs of trunks do you have? Because I see you've got at least two new pairs at least every month.
Yeah, I've had to throw away my old stuff. Well, not throw away, but I had to bag it up. The trunks in the minute, I think I've got like 30 something pairs.
Yeah.
So it's like 30 pairs of trunks, and then the knee pads, is like the knee covers or the kick covers as well. So they're just everywhere over the house. But I can never find, when I want a certain pair, it's like, yeah, I found this one, but it's like, well, where's the knee covers? I just can't find them. And I'll find them and it's like, no, I can't find the trunks. Yeah, but it's like 30 odd pairs when I counted the other week.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
Well, thankfully I get sponsored by Vic Stitch.
Woo!
So, so I'm sorry if that's K5, but no, it's not. I'm very proud to be sponsored by her.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, I've got 4 more in production at the minute, so. So yeah, my house is just gonna be full of spandex.
Just all over the bedroom floor.
Yeah, all odd ones.
So let's talk about something a bit serious now. So you suffer from depression. But looking at you, you're quite a good looking guy with a body to die for. So in my eyes, I don't know if someone like you could suffer from depression, but
yeah, it's hard for kind of people to understand, is like, because people see this,
yeah,
but it's the inside bit that I always struggled with. It's emotion, like with depression and anxiety as well. There was a stage in my life where I went off the rails really badly. Nearly lost my eldest boy by being stupid. You know, she moved him back to where she lives in Grimsby, and I just couldn't cope. You know, and it was like, I think back now, it's like when you type stuff over the media and like social media, and it's like, I don't want to be here anymore and all that stuff, and people are just like, what? So, you know, you're everything that you wanted. But really, I was just so lonely, I needed that attention. So it was only when I hit rock bottom, to the point where I did try and take my life. And I've spoken about this on many other things before, but it was only until I tried to hang myself, stupidly. But, you know, things didn't work out, it didn't work, it snapped. And then it was kind of like it was a new beginning for me. So.
You alright?
Yeah.
Are you just listening?
What?
You just listening?
I was going to do, but it's probably a bit too late. Too close to the bone. What time are you on?
Oh,
I was just listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was 5 years ago. And obviously I had a full-time job. I used to work building lifts for disabled people, and they just took every fun out of it. It's like, I know everybody worked, but it was 12-hour shifts, and they took away phones, headphones, you know, listening to stuff, and it was just, you put you in a corner and it's like build down for 12 hours. It's just soul destroying. But, you know, thankfully with wrestling, you know, with the teaching side as well, it's like it would have been a year, so last June I handed my notice in, and from there it's kind of, I've not looked back, and there's never, I have down days, I think everybody does, but it's like at this minute in time I don't think I've ever been happier. So I think being at that bad point 5 years ago to where I am now is a totally different person. total different outlook on life. Back then I had one boy, now I've got 3. So they keep me on my toes. So it's just kind of like, it's what kind of role model I want to be for them. And it's like, I've done like podcasts with people before, and they've kind of like touched upon the subject, and then people have messaged me saying like, thank you, you know, we always thought that you were this squeaky clean, happy person that never was, you know, upset or anything like that, but it's like, it's nice to see that people do suffer, but you can talk about it, and it's to help them as well. So in a way, I don't mind speaking out about bad times. I know people sometimes turn around like, oh, he's attention seeking, he just does it on purpose. You know, it's like, it was attention seeking, so I can't deny that. So, but I think I think there's too much of it, and to the point where it's like, shit, I need to go and get help. I did. So, you know, I had therapy sessions. I was sectioned away for a few weeks.
So, how did you learn to come over it? You know, in depression and
I think it was
conquer it?
I had sessions. This fantastic lady who like used to help me. She was like, label every negative thing that you have. Yeah. And there were certain things that I had on there that I just couldn't stand. As soon as, like, you wake up in the morning, it's like, oh, I've got to go to that horrible place again. So as soon as you woke up, you were already in a bad place. So that was the main one for me, was remove that job. So it was like, I've eliminated a lot of things that were negative. Of course, other things will pop up. It will still be bad. But it's like the process that she helped me with. So every time something bad happens, it's kind of like, okay, it hurts or it upsets me or I feel bad. But then it's like, now there's a process of which steps I need to take to get over that. It's helped a lot.
Cool. So let's move away from that now. Did you find wrestling hard on your life? Did it interfere with it?
It still does now.
Does it?
Yeah. It's like I have. If I was still working, I'd be doing like 7 in the morning until 5, and then from 5 go to teaching, so I wouldn't get to see my children. Yeah. So it's like, the good thing now is the fact is that I can take them to school, pick them up from school, spend a few hours with them every day, and then go and do my life sort of thing. So it's like I have 0 sleep. I probably have 3 or 4 hours sleep, because like I'll wake up at 3 in the morning and then I'll go to the gym. Yeah. Take them to school, have a bit of a kip, and then you know. So I make sure that I'm a dad first. Then I get to be Pip, me, and then it's also now I have to go and work because everything has to be provided for. So it's hard because it's 7 days a week. It's like non-stop. But when you kind of get into the groove of a schedule, it gets a lot easier. It does. You know, it's social life. I don't have one. So, you know, you have to sacrifice something, but it would never be time with my boys. It would always be like, if teaching cannot, I'd always get someone else to take it for me, just so I can kind of do something.
I've got some questions on Facebook. So let's see how you discuss.
Yeah.
Robert Ferrers wants to know, how much do you weigh and what's your diet like?
I weigh 12.5 stone on my diet. I posted my kind of daily like intake of stuff, and it's like, it doesn't matter how many times you eat. Well, it doesn't happen to how many times you eat, but it's like, for me, I have 7 meals a day, but I only have small portions, so it's like I have my hand portion, so it's like that bit's protein, this bit's green veg, and that's bit's like rice or pasta. It's just like them bits. So they're all in small portions, but I can have 7 a day. So I'm not constantly having big platefuls and stuff, and then having to think, oh, 2 more hours.
Hi fellas.
Hello.
I was kind of surprised to find people in here.
Yeah.
I was looking for a plug for my phone. Are you doing an interview?
Yeah.
Soz.
It's okay?
Yeah.
You're not bad at this interviewing stuff, Drill.
I'm doing alright.
Sorry, lads.
We need subtitles.
Apples on drill bits. Yeah.
Yeah, so the diet is just, you know, I did a 0 carb. Like I got carbs from greens.
Yeah.
Um,
Just check what time it was.
oh, okay, yeah. But now it's kind of like, because of the workload and I'm on less sleep,
yeah.
I have a bit of carbs just to kind of fuel the tank. But you know, what you put into your body is kind of what shows on the outside. If you're putting junk in, obviously it's going to have junk. So, so no, yeah, 12.5 stone, and it's just, I'm not one of these people that weighs stuff. It's just, you know, if it's there and it's like, oh, it's hand size.
That'll do.
That'll do. So.
Alright. Jonathan wants to know, what are your goals in wrestling?
It's always been Japan. There's been opportunities for me to go, but it kind of always fell through. I'd be silly and say nothing to do with WWE, but obviously if the opportunity came up like this cruiserweight thing, I'd love to obviously jump at that chance. But it's just more just to keep going. But with wrestling, I think I've given myself three more years in ring, and then obviously after that would be teaching and doing like classes and stuff. So that's the kind of my goal. If I could, the only thing that I left that I want to do as a professional would be, you know, Japan.
Yeah.
And if I did that and ticked it, I'd be like, you know what, I've done everything I've ever wanted to do. So.
Same again from Jonathan. I think he'll like it. What's been your highlight so far in your wrestling career?
I think it's the fact is I get to live a dream.
Yeah.
And it's like people are like, oh no, what's the biggest achievement? Is it winning this belt, wrestling this person? I could wrestle anybody. And sometimes it's like, oh, I'm so excited to do this match. But for me, it's kind of like the biggest dream was I've actually wrestled. And it's like for, you know, my careers teachers that used to laugh and just be like, no, seriously, pick a career because you're gonna have nothing if you don't pick a career. It's like I want a career, it's wrestling. So it's kind of nice that I can turn around to them if I ever met them again and be like, I proved you wrong. You know, you should never turn a child away from, or a kid, teenager that wants a dream. It's kind of like, if that's what you want, go and work for it. If it fails, at least you tried, you know. But always have something to fall back on. That's why I had the full-time job. But then all of a sudden it's like wrestling got too big and too much, and it was just like one thing had to give.
Yeah.
And then, you know, that other job was the downside to kind of me. And then obviously wrestling picks up because, you know, I'm not going back over that depression side again, but it's like wrestling for 15 minutes, I could be somebody I didn't want to, you know, I wasn't in real life, so I can have this make-believe character that I was happy and all this stuff, and as soon as you went home, it was like, I had to be this one again. It's like, I prefer this one. But, you know, there's a line that you don't want to cross where you're constantly this person, you know, and it's like you live a lie, and it's not the best. So it's like, no, my biggest achievements literally getting changed and then going through that curtain and just performing. As long as I don't get hurt or anything and walk back, it's like, yeah, job done.
Cool. Last few questions. We'll wrap this up. First question. What's your favourite match you've ever been in?
My favourite match? I have two that are very joint. The very first, when Noah came over in 2008, they did the Coventry Sky Dome in front of 10,000 people, and Mark Sloan gave me the opportunity to be in the dark match, and that was where me, Ligero and Luke Phoenix against Mark Haskins, Zack Sabre Jr. and Dave Mastiff. And that match for me was just like, it just blew my fucking mind. You know, being on the show with Masawa, Marufuji, Ishimori, you know, you're just like, that's crazy. So that's like the first one that kind of elevated me to that next level. And it was, you know, good match as well. And the one I did 2 years ago, I think it was, I finally got to wrestle Brian Kendrick. So I was like, yes. When people say they wrestled their idol and stuff like that, my favourite.
Just do the last bit, yeah. We'll move on.
Yeah.
So, who do you think is the next rising star? Or who have you got your eye on, who you think can do well?
Me besides you. I think
no one knows that's true.
Yeah,
let's be honest.
I think given the right things for you and your tag team, I think you could do well. But it's just kind of like I think sometimes people need to give you that ball and go for it, just like the opportunities they gave me. But I think so.
Let's be honest.
That's just being honest. No, because like I wouldn't have said it if I didn't. Because you have that look as a rugged wrestler. It's kind of like, as a bad guy, you want kids to be like, I don't want to get in the ring with him. And then you have that hero come out and it's like, I'm going to have him. So you have that look. But I think it's, if somebody gave you the proper run with things, I think you could go very far. It's just that you need someone to give you that opportunity. So Travis Banks, tremendous. Another one I keep my eye on, Chris Ridgway, very good talent. There's so many as well. It's like Pete Dunne. All of a sudden he's like, he's just shot up now. It's just people that I was saying that 4 or 5 years ago that would be stars now, and it's like now they're starting to pop through. Like they're the main kind of guys, and obviously Will Ospreay, how good he's done as well. But I think that kind of list. There's so many good, talented British wrestlers as well. That's kind of. I remember Stevie Knight said to me, he goes, "If you had to pick 10 British guys to put on a show, who would you do?" And I was like listening, and I was like, I think that's like 19 I've just listed. There's just too many to have on a show. But no, that list would be, for the cream to kind of rise to the top would be them guys.
Cool. What's your favourite match you've ever seen?
Favourite match I've ever seen? Okay, back to when Noah came over for the tour. It was Kenta and Ishimori against Daniel Bryan and Eddie Edwards, and me and Ligero got to be at ringside, one of the young boys, just kind of watching that, and it's just the chops, the kicks, and it's just like, whoa. Just like, obviously watching wrestling live, you get to how far away you were. I was on the apron. Every kick was like, holy shit. That one, and that would be my favourite one I've ever watched.
Awesome. Who's your favourite wrestler of all time?
I have two of them, Coco Beware and Brian Kendrick. They're true.
Awesome. Who would be your dream match be against, and they can be dead or alive?
Like I said, like my dream match was Kendrick. But I think I don't think it'll ever happen now, but would be Prince Devitt in Bar. That would be my ideal person to wrestle.
Awesome. Right, last question. Most important question of them all. What advice would you give to anybody who's starting out wrestling or looking to get into it?
The advice that I keep giving people is just like, you're gonna have bad days within wrestling. There's gonna be people you meet that are just not nice at all. But it's kind of like, if you have the drive to be a wrestler, you just keep moving forward. You take a hit and you keep moving forward. And just go and, if you're one of these wrestlers that like bitches and moans about other wrestlers, how good they're getting, it's just like, we all have, we used to call it the roller coaster. We had like a clique. It was like me, Liggs, Trav, Joey, Danny, Juice, all 6 of us. Each time we all had a spell of like, we were everywhere, and then I was everywhere, and all of a sudden then it was Liggs, then it was Danny, then it was Joey. And it's kind of like, there's going to be ups and downs, I'm flavour of the month this week, you know, you'd be flavour of the month next week. It always changes. But then it'll always come back if you keep working. It just depends on if you have the drive or patience to kind of, you know, let other people have their moment to shine, their 15 minutes of fame, whatever you want to call it, you know, and if they get picked up and gone, then there's a space. You know, there's this conveyor belt all the time with wrestling, you know. It's like we're all boom, 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 and then you go to America, or you know, you go to Japan, or you finish. You know, it keeps. You know, it's gonna keep going and going. No, just advice: just enjoy it. Because if you don't enjoy wrestling, there's no point in being in it, because it grinds you down. you know, you'd probably get to the point where you're just like, I can't be arsed with this anymore. You know, I'm done with it. And then something will happen, and you're like, I fucking love wrestling. I love wrestling. So it's just kind of just bite your tongue sometimes. Yeah. You know, when things go wrong. But
awesome.
Just just keep plodding on.
Awesome. There's one more question I was going to ask you. So you've got a lot of tattoos.
Yes.
Does any of them mean anything?
Yes. This whole arm, the whole tattoo that's my little boy, Rocco. I kind of had, at the time when he was born, it was like, what's my things that I was into and stuff, and these Hawaiian lays. So it's like, I went on my ideal holiday, so it was like the Hawaiian lays with the surfboard with his name on it. Yeah. The clock is the time that he was born, and the guardian angel that was looking after him would be my granddad. There's a flower blessed the year I was born. My other boy, Sonny, it's just, you know, the camper van. There's George, he loves planes. But my chest piece was the one that, like, more for me. It's like the boat this side, and then there's an octopus underwater. It's kind of like, the story is like with my anxiety and depression, it's like you said before, how I look above water, you know, all you just see is this beautiful ship, and you know, everything's nice and calm. It's the underneath bit that nobody ever sees until it kind of pops its nasty head through the water, and then that's when the ship kind of. So that's the kind of concept of that tattoo. It's kind of, and I've got the Latin writing of never surrender, just because for me, I can't stand looking at myself in the mirror. My face anyway. I don't, just the concept of just looking at the mirror kind of used to make me feel sick. It's like, I don't like it. I don't want to, you know, I used to smash mirrors. So it's kind of like, I have something to read now. It's just, you know, just little subliminal messages really. But yeah, every tattoo means something. So
cool.
There's my name and granddad. So.
Awesome. Anything else you want to
add? No, just thank you for letting me be a part of your project. So I appreciate that.
No problem. It was a pleasure having you on.
Thank you very much.
Want to plug anything? Sell anything?
No, I'm fine. You know.
You sure?
No, just everyone keep watching these.
Alright then. Thank you for allowing me to interview you. It was a pleasure. It was interesting. Thanks for watching. I'm Drill.
And I'm Bubblegum.
Catch you down the road.
Yeah.